Affordable luxury, modern budget homes with courtyards and Zen-inspired gardens. 2025 design trends. In the evolving world of architecture, a quiet revolution is taking place. It isn't flashy, it doesn't rely on grand entrances or oversized footprints. Instead, it rests gently on one core idea that true comfort, beauty, and serenity don't have to come at a high cost. This instance of affordable luxury, it's not about less, it's about what matters more. And today more than ever, homeowners are beginning to understand that luxury is not in square meters, but in how a space feels. One of the most elegant expressions of this movement is found in budget-conscious modern homes that incorporate courtyards and Zen gardens. These aren't just design features, they are reflections of a deeper desire to slow down, to reconnect with nature, to create meaning through simplicity. In these homes, the architectural language is quiet, intentional, layered with calm. It begins with a shift in focus, away from opulence, away from excess, and towards something more lasting, purposeful design. Rather than fill a space with decorative gestures, these homes embrace clean lines, natural textures, and gentle transitions between indoors and out. Walls don't crowd, they guide. Light doesn't just illuminate, it warms, it calms. Large windows and glass doors frame sky and green. They invite the outdoors in and allow the interior to spill effortlessly into open air. The interior finishes follow suit. Neutral tones, soft white, sand, slate, olive, create an atmosphere that is both open and grounded. Surfaces feel tactile, woods are left exposed, fabrics breathe, nothing is loud, everything is considered. At the center of the home, one space draws you in without a word. The courtyard. It is the soul of the design. An open-air room, a void that brings everything together. Its shape is shaped by the home itself, an L or U that holds it gently, like hands around water. And in that protected heart of the plan, life happens. A morning stretch in silence, a shared meal under filtered sunlight, a book read slowly on a cool evening. The courtyard is not a luxury, it is a necessity for presence. It reintroduces light, wind, scent, and time back into daily life. And what's most beautiful is that even in small urban homes, this sense of openness is entirely possible. With the right proportion, with the right framing, a small courtyard becomes expansive in emotion. It does not need grandeur, it needs intention. And paired with the courtyard, another layer of tranquility emerges. The Zen garden. This is not a garden that seeks to impress. It does not bloom loudly, it does not call attention. It simply rests. Its textures are few: gravel, stone, moss, and air. Its tones are quiet, grey, green, muted beige. Its rhythm is asymmetrical, organic, balanced. A flat bed of gravel gently raked into lines that mimic water. One large stone placed like a thought. A bamboo fountain dripping at its own pace. This is not landscaping, this is invitation to stillness, and it's wonderfully simple to achieve. No irrigation systems, no weekly maintenance, just space and breath and care. These design gestures, courtyard and garden, they do more than complete the home. They define its entire character. They shift the way one lives, slowing time, softening edges, encouraging reflection. And they do all this while remaining incredibly budget conscious. That's the genius of it. Rather than chase expensive finishes or imported materials, these homes are built with what's local, what's lasting, and what's meaningful. Concrete floors, simply polished, walls finished in lime plaster, reclaimed timber with history in its grain. Each material tells a story, and with thoughtful planning, costs remain grounded. The homeowner becomes a participant. A bench made from salvaged wood, pavers laid by hand, a path of stones found over time. Every piece carries meaning, not because it was costly, but because it was chosen. The result is not just design, it is belonging. Even the systems reflect this balance. Passive solar orientation to warm the home naturally, cross breezes that cool, rainwater collected and reused. Energy isn't wasted, it's invited in, used with respect. This is not just sustainable architecture, it is responsible living. And it is the very definition of modern luxury. One that feels better because it is better. Better for the planet, better for the soul, better for the rhythm of everyday life. A home that lets you rest, not because you're tired, but because it is finally, truly enough. The courtyard draws you back again, not with complexity, but with its stillness, its openness, its quiet invitation to step outside, and yet feel completely at home. This space, unroofed, unwalled, becomes the most sacred part of the home. Not through luxury, but through rhythm, through pause, through intentional emptiness. It is here that natural light becomes a material, soft in the morning, strong at noon, amber by dusk. And the architecture doesn't fight this light. It embraces it with overhangs that temper, with openings that frame, with surfaces that reflect gently. You begin to understand this isn't an accessory to the home. This is the home, the space where breath deepens, where sound fades, where movement slows. The courtyard doesn't demand function, but it offers many a place to eat, to rest, to gather, to be alone. A tree at its center offers shade, its branches casting patterns across gravel. Perhaps there's a small table beneath it. 2 chairs, nothing more, enough. Around the edge a bench, low, simple, built-in, becomes the seating, the sculpture, the pause. Climbing vines trace the walls. Over time, they soften the geometry, they cool the surface, they animate the air. And tucked into one side, a Zen corner, not a garden in the traditional sense, but a place of presence, flat stones carefully spaced, raked gravel drawn into curves. One lantern, perhaps aged, perhaps cast from stone. It is not a place to walk. It is a place to notice. This kind of landscape is not built with abundance, it is built with discipline, with subtraction, with humility, and its power lies in what's left unsaid, in what's not there. A single bamboo pipe ticking quietly with every drop of water. Its rhythm unhurried, its purpose only to be. The materials remain grounded, unpolished, uneven, alive. Gravel from the local quarry, wood from salvaged structures, clay tiles made by hand. Each element part of a greater ecosystem, each texture in dialogue with the others. And in this conversation there is no noise, there is only balance. Inside, the same principle extends. The boundary between courtyard and interior is paper thin. Glass slides open, curtains breathe in the breeze. The home doesn't stop at the wall, it flows. A low bench in the living room echoes the one outdoors. A linen cushion matches the colour of the garden stones. Light falls the same way across floor and soil. And as the day moves forward, the house changes, it follows the sun, it receives it, it releases it. Nothing feels fixed, yet everything feels settled. Furnishings remain simple, a wooden coffee table, unvarnished, a woven mat, textured and grounding, a shelf with only what is loved. Here, minimalism is not about scarcity, it is about clarity, and clarity is abundance of a different kind. It allows the home to breathe. And it allows the people inside to breathe with it. Outside again, the courtyard becomes the room where seasons speak. In spring, the tree blossoms. In summer, the bench becomes warm. In autumn, leaves scatter and decorate the stones. In winter, mist hangs low and still. No matter the season, the space remains relevant, used, needed. It is not just designed, it is lived. In one corner, a hammock, strung simply between 2 posts. In another, a row of terracotta pots, each holding a plant with a purpose. Fragrance, texture, memory. They're not arranged for show, they're arranged for meaning, each one chosen, each one familiar. Lighting again stays subtle, solar stakes hidden in the ground, LED strips tucked under benches, a paper lantern above the table. As night arrives, the courtyard shifts, it doesn't glow, it glimmers, shadows fall deeper, silhouettes stretch longer, everything slows. And it is then, in this softened hour, that you realize what the space has done. It has held the day, it has witnessed, it has welcomed, without noise, without decoration, without effort. It has given you a place to exist. And for all its simplicity, for all its restraint, there is nothing missing, not a single piece, not a single need. This is what affordable luxury truly means. Not cutting corners, but choosing the right ones. Not reducing life, but revealing it, layer by layer, line by line, stone by stone. And so the home unfolds, not through grandeur but through continuity, through the seamless flow of space, of air, of light. The courtyard fades into the background, not because it's forgotten, but because it's become a natural extension of how life moves. This final portion of the experience is not about what's seen, but what's felt. A home built with intention doesn't rush you, it meets you at your own pace. And this is where the lifestyle begins to change. No longer dictated by screens or speed or overstimulation, it begins to move with rhythm, with clarity, with pause. Each room, each corner is designed not only for a function, but for a feeling. There is no need for excess furniture, no need for closed-in walls or high ceilings. Instead, every space holds just enough. A dining area that opens to sky, not large but luminous. A single table, 4 chairs, sunlight at breakfast, lantern glow at dinner. A kitchen lined with open shelves. Jars, ceramics and wood. The smell of herbs drying in the air. A bathroom, perhaps the smallest room of all, feels expansive because its materials are honest. Stone, concrete, soft light that moves throughout the day. A window looking out to green. Nothing extravagant, just life, visible, near. And the bedroom, the final retreat, remains free of visual noise. A low bed, natural sheets, perhaps a built-in ledge instead of a side table. Curtains that sway, walls that rest. Here, the outside world feels far, but not shut out. It is just paused. And then, as the morning begins again, the routine becomes ritual. Opening a door to greet the courtyard, breathing before moving, stepping barefoot onto stone, making tea and carrying it into sunlight. This is no longer simply a home, it is a sanctuary, a place designed not to impress others, but to restore yourself. And the beauty of it all is that none of it relies on a large budget. It relies on clarity, on craftsmanship, on knowing what matters. Locally sourced materials replace imported ones. Raw concrete replaces polished marble. A handmade bench replaces factory furniture. The costs go down, but the meaning rises. Energy savings are embedded in the layout with natural ventilation, shaded facades, passive cooling and heating. There are no smart home gimmicks here, only smart design. Walls are thick where heat needs blocking. Windows are placed to invite wind. Overhangs protect without cutting off light. The home works because it's been thought through. And in doing so, it begins to teach. It teaches a slower rhythm, a more grounded routine, a life that is both simpler and richer. Suddenly, even the smallest details hold value. The garden stone placed under your favorite tree, the way light hits the wooden floor at 4 p.m, the sound of gravel underfoot. Everything becomes an experience. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is wasted. This is the true meaning of luxury. Not more, but enough. Not dazzling, but lasting. And the best part is that it is achievable. Anywhere, by anyone, through design that listens, through spaces that serve, through homes that hold. Affordable luxury is not a compromise. It is a return to the essence of living well. And whether it's through a courtyard filled with morning light, or a Zen garden touched by evening wind, or a quiet kitchen where sunlight filters through leaves, it reminds you that the most meaningful spaces are not the most expensive, they are the most intentional. And when a home becomes that, it becomes more than shelter, it becomes a way of living, calm, balanced, rooted, and fully, beautifully alive.